Record. Start streaming. Connect Facebook Live. Go live. And intro. We're back. I like this hook. You got a book you want to tell us about? Well, let's talk. There's no other place to do it. Only on Catch Da Craze. Catch Da Craze. We're back. Oh, welcome to Catch Da Craze podcast. I am your host with the most, Sam the Crazy Man Vera, and I am with
George, the dreamer, the
Say what? So today's gonna be a fun day. We are live on Facebook as of right now, and we will be having our buddy. One of the originators, the original crew from the original Crazy Comics back in the days, an alumni of the Kubert School, an ex-military, and now he works for the USPS, right? U.S. Postal Service?
Yes.
And he's an aspiring independent artist. He worked on Forbidden for Me. He worked on Little Steve's Closet with Moss Media.
He's the CEO of Moss Media Studios.
CEO.
That's right.
Yes.
Right. Mr. Anibal Arroyo, que es Arroyo.
Yeah, CEO. Cut everyone online. That's what he does. He cuts everyone online.
Cuts everyone online. You and your freaking, what are these things called? Anyway, so how you doing, Sam?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
You were bedridden for
Yeah.
a few days.
Yes.
Fighting some crazy stuff. What are you doing? You're distracted over there. We're live. What are you doing?
I'm watching it on screen too. So yes, I was first off, hope everybody who's out there, we're playing it safe, we're keeping our distance, and we're being safe and healthy. I know I caught a bug, and it wasn't fun. You know, you don't know what.
You still don't know what it was, right?
No, I don't know what Jack is. So the problem is I didn't know what it was, but I had migraines and body aches and fever. Then the shakes. Like 1 minute I'm very hot, the next minute it feels like I was out in Antarctica. That lasted for about 6 days, 7 days. With the migraines, and then that went away. Then on Monday, I had shortness of breath. I felt like I ran a marathon, so I was very weak. And then Tuesday, my breathing got a little better. Today was the first day in 10 days that I actually worked out. So I'm actually, Johnny's on. I'm actually feeling a whole lot better than I was before.
There you go. Yeah, no. Before we continue, just wanted to give people a rundown what's coming on this week, because we're about to get on with Anibal, and then all hell's about to break loose.
Yes.
So before we lose track of everything, just want to let you guys know this is the first episode of the month. I hope everybody's safe out there. This coronavirus thing is serious.
Yes.
So we've put together a few shows for everybody to, kind of just sit at home and watch them and just laugh. And we have some really cool people on the show this month. I think some of the last show of the month you guys are really gonna enjoy. That was like a surprise guest, because we really didn't promote that guest because we didn't know if they were coming on or whatnot.
Yes.
But next week we're gonna have Macroverse on the show. Macroverse is it's a studio. It's a media studio that is revolutionizing the way we read comics on our phones.
Right.
I'll just say that, and you guys can check out the show next week. Nice. The 10th and the 17th, we're going to have the wonderful Adela Brito. Adela Brito, she actually met her a few years ago. They were neighbors, and she is a writer and an editor.
Yes.
So if anybody needs some editing advice, editing done for their books, contact her. She's at four eyes edits, right?
Yeah,
.com.
four as in cuatro, four.
Four
So
eyes
FOUR
edit.com.
eyes as in right. So and edits as in editing .com.
Yeah, that show's going to be on the 17th. And then on the 24th, we have a gentleman by the name of Jeffrey Henderson. Jeffrey went off on this show.
Oh,
I think Sam was going to have a heart attack with
yeah,
all the F-bombs
yeah. I was like, I gotta
and
put
the
another
F's
disclaimer.
and
I was
the
like,
A-holes
yeah,
that he was dropping. He's a
yeah,
New Yorker, so he was just speaking his mind. I love the guy. He's off the hook. His
yes.
artwork is incredible. You guys are going to love that show. So check that out. And I'm done.
Oh wow!
Carry on,
So far, I just want to give
Sam.
a shout out because right now we got Anibal, we got Jonathan Syfax, we got Joe Holly, and Jason Salazar, all joined. So what's up, guys? Thank you for watching and listening to
Anibal's
Catch
a
Da
rock
Craze.
star, bro. They
Yeah,
heard Anibal was gonna be on the show. He's a rock star. This kid is money.
I know.
Keep
Yeah,
typing away.
yeah, no. So I'm sorry. You know how what happens.
You start seeing people
So
responding. You're like, go in.
So for those of you who are watching, George can't see my screen. I'm gonna play it right now because Anibal won't be able to see it, but maybe he can see it because he's watching from home.
He is.
I'm gonna show you a scene from back in the days with Mr. Anibal Arroyo, George Medina, and Sam the Crazy Man Vera back in 2005 at the Big Apple Con.
Yeah, that's him. He's great at this.
You're in the ripped in the chest and everything. Just tell us what you're doing right now.
Excuse me?
What are you doing now?
What am I doing now? I'm working on a sketch cover customer just bought. He walked away about 20 minutes ago. I was done about 10 minutes ago, but I keep adding stuff to it. That's just the way I do it. And in a little while, I will be getting something to eat. Maybe taking a leak. A little too much info.
Yeah, the convention's going okay. What do you think about today? What about the sales?
In general, altogether, it's not too bad.
I think we did well. Yeah, we had a good turnout.
As well as to be expected.
Stop this Pittsburgh, yeah.
April 22nd to the 25th. I'll holler back. I'll get back to you about that.
Gotta know, yeah, we gotta know soon. Cause
Yeah, I'll find out tomorrow.
I'll call them up and find out about if they have placements where you can put things advertised.
Like I said, if I get those sick days from work, I'll use it.
Yeah, so that was the crew back in the day. So I think this is a good one.
What the actual? What were we? Oh, look at the hair.
Oh, you saw my hair? You saw my hair? I was rocking it. So I think we're going to go and reach out to Mr. Arroyos right now. I'm going to send him an invite. Let me get him.
Oh, that is insane.
Which one was it? 0094 for Anibal or 8377? Yeah.
0094.
Okay, cool. All right, add. Boom.
Oh man, that is insane.
All right, so we're just waiting for Anibal to get on and send him the invite. And then switch screens to computer. Was it main? Oh, ring.
What's going on?
I'm ringing him.
Oh, he just responded 0094.
Oh, it's 0094?
Yeah.
Oh, I told you. Oh, there he goes. There he goes. All right, so hold.
Where the hell did he pull that video from, bro?
Dude, where's that footage coming from?
That is crazy, bro. That's insane. That's insane. What's up, Sam?
What's up? I guess gotta get you on the. I gotta get you on my screen here.
Okay.
That is freaking funny, dude.
That was hilarious. I was like, what is he gonna show? Am I gonna be like picking my nose or something? I don't know how to film.
There it is.
Oh man, that was great, dude.
That's crazy.
Sam, we lost you, Sam.
Did you?
Yeah, there you are. You're back.
Yeah, sorry. I'm just connecting Mr. Arroyo. So welcome, Arroyos.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What's up, pal?
So I got George on 2 screens.
Let me mute my computer here.
Yeah, this one. I don't.
That's funny because I guess we're on a delay, right?
Boom. There we go.
There you go. You fixed yours?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, cool.
I don't see you, Sam, but that's all right.
Hold
I can
on.
hear you.
Can you?
Yeah, I can hear you. I just don't see you.
How about now?
Nope. That's all right. Don't worry about it.
All right, cool.
Let's chat.
So this is what happens when you're live, people. So welcome, Arroyos. Is that your studio? That's your home studio?
This is it, bro. This is the place to be. Greatest place on earth.
Yes.
I'll give you the panoramic view real quick.
There you go.
Bam. What's up, guys?
What's up, bro? Did you have your class tonight, or were you guys working online? How's it going?
Yeah. The class went for about 40. Well, I was on for about 45 minutes. It's like a 5-hour class, but obviously we're not doing 5 hours online. Yeah, we're only in here about 45 minutes. Those are
right.
4 o'clock.
Ah, there you go. And so what do you think of your video, your flashback?
Craziness, bro. I didn't know what to expect. Got the camera at a low angle, like spying up. Am I gonna be like digging up my nose? Or crazy. We were babies, bro.
Babies.
You were drawing Forbidden? That was a cover, right?
Forbidden? From Forbidden.
Yes.
Sam had the sketch covers for Forbidden. I think that was the first show we did together.
Yes.
The Big Apple Comic Con, I think it was.
That was the Big Apple 2005.
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
2005. That hair. Yeah, you were clean cut, and I looked like I was somewhere out of like the hippies or something.
Fabio, bro, you know Fabio hair? Skit had the long hair. It was crazy. I was like,
Anibal at the table. I didn't know he's working, and I'm over there planning on Pittsburgh, and he's still working at Big Apple. And I'm like, all right, so, and he's like, yeah, I'll take a sick day.
I was still in the service at the time. That was the clean cut.
Yes.
That's the last time I saw a barbershop.
Yeah, that's right. So, Mr. Arroyos, what are you working on now?
Currently, right now. Before I get into that, I wanted to shout out my boy John Diesel, John Sypak. I got the book. Yo, it looks fantastic, bro.
What is it?
It's his Future Scope showcase. It's like an anthology. George knows about it. He worked on it as well.
Nice.
And I got a story. I got a short story in here with my artwork. Let me show you guys real quick. That's the cover I did for it. I did the line work here. The colors, I wasn't digitally savvy at the time. That's pre-digital skills.
Right.
Somebody else put it over. Yeah, I could rock it now though. Some of the interior. Boom. And as you guys know, I love going in on detail. Check out the detail in that character right there. Damn. Look at that.
who? Oh, somebody. Yeah, I forgot. Somebody else colored that, right?
John's got goons. He pays dues to.
Got the goons. He's got the goons.
Goons.
Jonathan's
Somebody
goons.
colored over me, but to answer your question, currently right now I am working on some homework. Believe it or not, I'm doing a. Let me see, where is it?
Homework.
Yeah, man, I'm taking some classes trying to get my bachelor's. I'm actually working on character. It's a cartooning class. Hence why I've been doing the characters lately. Recognize these two clowns?
I do, actually. I do.
And I got the one I've been working on tonight. Well, this was posted on Facebook the other day.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, Vin Diesel. Yep.
Yeah, I actually started working on this one.
You got the Lucy, right?
Yeah, the I Love Lucy one. My wife just started watching the show recently, like binging it, so I got into that. And I actually started digitally coloring that. It's on my screen now, but I can't show you because I got the Facebook up. So, yeah. Staying busy, man. Staying busy.
Okay. Good for you. Good for you. So let's talk about, let's go back before we go forward because a lot of people who don't know who Mr. Arroyos is. So tell us about, where you grew up. What were your influences? What inspired you to get into illustration?
Wow. Okay, where I grew up in the city of Paterson, New Jersey. For those of you that are familiar with the movie Lean on Me, with the story of Joe Clark, it's famous for that Eastside High School era and all that.
Right.
Where they called him Batman. I actually knew people he kicked out of that school back in the day. And
you went to that school, anyone?
I actually did not. I went to a Catholic high school the first year, freshman year. It was Paterson Catholic. And then sophomore year through senior year, I went to Rosa Parks School of Fine and Performing Arts. Let me get the name right. Which I don't know if it's still in existence. I believe it still is. Yeah, it was kind of like a smaller version of the School of Fame. Remember the show?
Yeah.
Kind of smaller. It had everything. It had dancers, singers, musicians, artists, all kinds of artists. It was really, really good place to hone your skills and be around creative people. And then some of my influences really. I didn't get into comics. I'm just gonna go on. Just blab here. I didn't get into comics until much later than most people. Like Marvel and DC, I was introduced to those characters mostly on television through like the shows and stuff.
Right.
I grew up watching the Saturday morning cartoons, the Super Friends and Spider-Man is Amazing Friends, and that's how I was introduced to comics. It wasn't until high school where I met this kid by the name of him and his brother Eddie. Okay, Ed and Eddie Del Val. They're brothers. Right. And everybody just called them Ed and Eddie. One is Eddie Berto and one is Edwin. But Ed and Eddie.
Shoot.
It was funny. They brought in an issue of Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man by Todd McFarlane. Right. Back when he was doing it.
That's what got me into it.
I looked into it. I was like, whoa, this is just like for me. I fell in love with comics right then and there. I was always more into film. I had growing up, I always wanted to get into like special effects and creature designing and that sort of thing. Right. But when I saw comics, it was just the next best thing, and it was available to me immediately. You don't need a budget, as we all know. It's just you creating right then and there on the spot. Right. So pretty much that was around sophomore year. I think I was about 15. Right. And from then on, I just started creating my own characters and hooking up with like-minded people, and yeah, I got a whole universe now.
Yeah, dude.
Nice.
So real quick, Anibal. Your boy Daniel Mendoza shouting you out from Florida.
Andy, that's my boy. Yeah, man. We used to chill a lot back in the day.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be telling stories here. In the 90s.
And your boy Jason Salazar says sounds like a fancy high school.
My man from the Air Force right there. Yeah, that's my home in the Air Force. Me and Danny back in the day, I went through a period of not drawing. I went away from the drawing. I got my driver's license. I discovered girls. I got into partying and smoking and all that stuff. So I was hanging a lot, doing the club scene and all that stuff. Danny Rex, we called him Rex back in the day. He was one of the dudes that I rolled with back in the day, and he was a funny character. He's a character. Anytime there was beef, there was a fight going on, Danny was in the middle of that shit for some strange reason. But he was a good guy, though. He wasn't a bully. Danny was a bully. Yeah, he wasn't a bully. He was always ready to fight, though, for some strange thing. I don't know why. He always, where's the fight at? That's what I remember him for. Who was the other one? Jason. That's my boy from the military. We used to roll together when through basic training. We hung out, we drank together, and we chilled together. That's probably the only person I know from Texas, actually.
Really?
Right.
He's in Houston, Texas. Yeah.
He's funny, bro. I don't know if he's messing with you, but he's like, sounds like a fancy high school. Did you have to be selected to go to Rosa Parks Performing Arts, or just transfer in?
You have to be a jokester. Yeah. Hey, believe it or not, I gotta tell you, you did have to be selected. Well, at least back when I went, there was a selection. You couldn't just get in there. And here's the funny story, right? Coming from Paterson Catholic, where I was at, all right, I wasn't always the most studious person. I just wasn't into school. It's funny because it came easily to me, but I didn't have, I don't know, the capacity to stay mentally focused on it or whatever. So my grades were shit, okay? My grades were horrible. So when I went to try to apply to this school, the arts high school, they looked at my grades. They're like, you're serious about this? So luckily for me, my dad was pretty well connected. He knew people in the board of ed, and, he was connected. So he got somebody from that to like write a letter or a record, but whatever. He got me in, basically, is what I'm saying. Connections got me in, because otherwise I probably wouldn't have got in.
You wouldn't have gotten in?
I had my portfolio ready. They looked at it, they're like, your grades are like, what is this,
Right.
So, that's a little story behind that.
That's funny.
That's hilarious.
Yo, George, your cousin's on here. Shout out to the cousin.
JR, yeah, one of our biggest supporters. You know him, right?
Yeah, JR's the man. Big shout out to JR, man.
Yeah.
And of course,
Buddy.
Joe Holly.
Oh, hell
He,
yeah.
he wants more stories. He wants more stories.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Jay Holly. Damn. How did we meet Joe? We met him at the New York Comic Con, I think it was. Back in 20, it's been about
so.
5 or 6 years. I think it was Jonathan sending out like invites. And
Jonathan was sending the
right?
fan page, and then Joe just showed up at the table because I think he heard of us.
It was.
And he showed up. Yeah, yeah.
And Joe was just like with you guys. It was like an instant connection. When he came to the table, we were like, our minds just gelled. It's almost like with you guys. If I feel like there's certain people that you meet sometimes in life that you feel like you always knew them. Like you grew up with them. Like
Right.
You picture them in your childhood because that's how strong the connection is right there instantly. And Joe Holly is definitely one of those guys too for me.
Yeah, yeah. Joey, man, and we've been. I mean, we were gonna do the convention, the East Coast, and he was gonna come down. I mean, he makes a trip down because he lives upstate. So he makes a trip down here all the time, and yeah, he's fun, man. I love it. And congratulations, he's getting married. He's engaged.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, congratulations to Joe. Yeah. But yeah, Neva, so you got that stuff going on, huh? You got the class. You're about to teach.
Well, I'm studying art education. Well, I'm actually getting my bachelor's in illustration. I got a little sidetracked with financial aid and a whole bunch of other stuff, and so I actually ended up paying out of pocket. So I had to switch gears. So my plan is to first get my degree in illustration and then pursue the certification in art education. So that's down the road for me. But I'm doing great, man.
Nice.
I'm actually, for the first time ever, I'm into school. I'm so into it, I made the National Honor Society. I'll be posting pictures of that. Yeah, I got straight A's, bro. Like, who would have known, right?
Jeez, look at you, bro.
Yeah, I'm focused, very focused.
You focused, man.
Yeah.
Damn, dude, that's good. When did you get the book? When did Jonathan just stop by and just hand the books?
I was texting with him, and he was like, "Yo, I'm in Jersey. I wanted to order the book, just to make the website look like it's happy." He was like, "Yo, I'll take the money. I can just drop off the book to you." I'm like, "Let's do it legit. I'll put the order in, whatever we can. You get me the book." He happened to be in Jersey, so I drove by his job and picked it up.
Nice.
Okay. Nice.
It's awesome, bro.
Looks good, right?
Fantastic.
Yo, he got lucky, bro.
The papers, it's so good. Look at this.
Dude,
yeah.
we put the order was for it to be in black and white.
What?
And they printed it out in color.
What?
Oh man, you got
at the same rate?
He paid black and white rate.
Black and white rate for cut. Oh man, super. I've never seen this kind of like the what do you call it? The texture.
You see that? Yeah, the texture on the covers.
Awesome.
Yeah,
It's got like a feel to it.
I don't know. My Wonder Duck has the same texture to it.
It is badass, bro.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, it looks awesome. That's definitely
Yeah, it looks good. Your artwork really pops in that one too, man.
Yeah.
No, it really did that.
Yeah, Nino jumped on and he said that he came on just for you, Anibal.
Oh,
yeah,
Nino. Yeah. Nino, I've never met Nino in person, but again, I feel like
Which is crazy. Not for me, not for George, but for you, because you came out of nowhere. What do you do with your camera? You're making me dizzy here. Is it an earthquake?
There you go.
All right. We've known Nino for years, man. Nino and we go back. Like, he's from Chicago, and we've known Nino for years.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I just don't remember how we connected. I don't know. Was it through the podcast?
No, I don't know, man.
I don't remember.
Refresh your memory, Nino. Tell us how we connected. He's got he had a book. He was obviously, it was the whole, we were doing the whole.
The Unbelievable Laundry Detergent Man, something like that.
Yeah, the Unbelievable Laundry Detergent Man.
Yeah. I remember.
So the reason, hey guys, before I forget, the reason I wanted to be on in April, that I kept bugging you guys about April, we met in April. 2004. I don't remember the exact date, but it was April 2004 at that Star Wars convention in Secaucus. I always remember April.
It's our anniversary. Where's my flowers? Where's my flowers? Wow, that's right. It was at the Star Wars convention. Yes.
Yeah. You guys want to hear the story of that? As I remember it, check this out. Okay.
All right, go ahead.
It was actually my second convention once I got back from the service that I went to with my portfolio.
Right.
The very first convention I went to with my portfolio was one you guys were also at, which was the Big Apple Comic Con earlier in the year, that same year, 2004. I took a buddy of mine from the military and a lady friend. And long story short, never take someone else with you when you're trying to do something like have professionals look at your portfolio,
Right.
because you might get outshined. Okay, that's
Oh man.
I went in. I had all the, I'm like, yeah, guys, let's do this. And he didn't even really want to go, but he got all the shine. I was like, oh, son of a bitch. So okay, I was kind of nervous about showing it as it was. That really shut me down. I was like, oh my god. So the second convention I went to with my portfolio was because of my wife. She told me, if you're gonna go to the show, take your portfolio. And I was like, all right, I'll take it. Whatever. So I take it, but I leave it in my car.
Oh.
I didn't want to bring it in. But as it was, I'm walking around. I'm like, this doesn't even look like the kind of convention where I can show myself. This is all Star Wars. Then I see these 3 lonely guys standing around looking sad and just, oh man, what are we doing here? And I work up the nerve to walk up to the table, introduce myself. Hello, my name is Anibal. I went to the Joe Kubert School. I'm an artist, I'd like to show you my stuff, see what you guys think. They were like, sure, yeah, we'd love to. And I was like, okay, I'll come back later. So I go walking around. And as I approach the table the second time, still I don't have a portfolio at this time. I'm looking down the aisle and I see there's this big yellow banana, this person dressed in a banana doing a freaking interview of you guys. So it kind of killed the little nerve that I had worked up to go back up to you guys. I was like, damn. So I went back, and this time I came back with my portfolio. So I'm hanging out to my portfolio, just creeping, just walking around like, this fucking banana's killing me right now. What's this guy doing? I gotta go talk to these guys before I lose my nerve. Luckily, coming up behind me, I feel a little tap on my shoulder. Guess who's there? Hello, I'm John. You guys, you said earlier you wanted to show me, show us your portfolio and this and that. Okay. So I
was trying to recruit you as one of his
dudes. John Diesel came and got me, because otherwise I probably wouldn't have made it back to the table.
Damn.
So I made it back to the table, show you guys a portfolio. The rest is history. So yeah, that's the build up for that one.
That was crazy.
Wow.
Yeah,
dude. All right, so the Google strikes again. So that was on April 18th, 2004.
I tried looking that up. I couldn't even find that.
Yeah.
April what was the name of the convention?
Empire Fan Fest.
Empire Fan Fest. Yes, right.
That's Star Wars convention in Jersey. Okay, that would have.
Yes.
I did that too. I put Secaucus, New Jersey Star Wars convention in 2004, and that came up.
Yeah, it wasn't
Empire Fan Fest. Dude.
Yeah, because we're in a documentary that they filmed us for at that. Yes, and I have the DVD. I forgot the name of the documentary, but we were in some sort of comic book documentary that they were interviewing us for there. So we met Nino Messinera at the New York Spectacular.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
New York Spectacular. Damn.
Yes. And then that's how we got down, and that's how I introduced you to the Forbidden script.
The Forbidden. Now let's clear something up. Anibal. Did you stop working on Forbidden, or were you forced off of Forbidden?
Okay.
What happened?
Oh, Suki. Oh, this is for the tabloids.
I remember it.
The Eat You Hollywood story right here.
Oh, it's on like Donkey Kong.
I'm going to pick it back up with the Empire Fan Fest. All right, later that day.
Hold on.
I gave my business card. We connected really good. I think I made a good connection with that. I told my wife, my girlfriend then at the time, Gabby, I think I made a good connection with these guys I met. They were about my age. We were to the same thing. They were friendly. I think I'm going to get lucky with these guys. So about 2 weeks in, I'm sitting at home. I get a phone call. I don't pick it up because I never pick up if I don't know the number. It's probably a bill collector. So I just wait for the voicemail. So I listen to the voicemail. It's, hello, this is Jonathan. We met about 2 weeks ago.
Jonathan called you?
Yeah, he left me a message. We'd like to meet with you further to talk about working with us in the future, on a story we got planned. It's called Street Journal.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yes.
I was like, it was like I hit the lottery. I was like, oh shit, I got a job in comics.
I'm about to get put on
comics. Okay, so that all happened. So fast forward again, we met, and I think I met George and John first at the Starbucks in around the corner from the Midtown Comics.
Right.
I believe. And then we made a deal, whatever. The Street Journal was the book I was gonna work on. This and that. Fast forward about maybe 2 weeks in during the design stages of the story. Writers can be picky and very anal sometimes. Shout out to John Diesel. I love you, boy. there was a little rift in the creative process somehow. I'm not really sure who started what or how it happened. Anyhow, the next thing I know, that at the next meeting, Cam comes up with this portfolio binder thing, and he's like, "Okay, we pulled Street Journal. This is what you're gonna be working on." On the table.
I pulled a cartel move.
I gotta respect the man. He came looking professional. You know, he had a contract. He had a little briefcase, attaché case, and the whole nine. You know, and I loved it. I looked at the portfolio. I'm a fan of different genres. I love the sci-fi. I love the horror. I love it all. His stuff was sold together in that binder. I was like, wow, this is like, he had character bios and background, and every issue was scripted, and the character designs were right. Everything was laid out for me. I was like, oh, dude, I love it. You know, I had no questions. I was like, okay, you know, it's your company. You want to pull that book, put me on this? Fine, no problem. Okay, so fast forward again about 3 issues in. I did the issue 0, then I did issue 1, and I did issue 2. I made it to 3 issues, I believe, right? Somewhere in there, at some show that I keep hearing stories about, the legend of Duty was born.
Duty.
He got pooped on.
Here's the thing with that.
All right, go ahead.
It seemed like initially, for me, my enthusiasm for the project was not just my enthusiasm, but it was like a shared enthusiasm with you.
Yes.
With Sam specifically.
Yeah.
But his attention was more towards the Alien book.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, again, thanks for bringing this up. I did make a list of stuff I wanted to talk about.
Oh, Jesus.
I never listen. I never disliked the actual idea or the character. It was more the way it was presented.
Right.
It's like, okay, if it's so dope, why are you shoving it down my throat? It's like you're force feeding me. So I'm all right. I gotta admit, I'm a little rebellious and stubborn sometimes. So when I feel that, I'm gonna automatically shut that down. I'm gonna be like, no matter what. That's just me. But it's never to say, you know, the stuff is not gonna work for you or it wasn't a good idea or anything. Never, that was never my intention. But I was like, yo, you know, what happened to the project we were doing? You know,
right.
So once your interest kind of waned, automatically I was like, the steam and the gas went out of me too. So, you know, long story short, that's how basically mass media was formed. Shortly after that, we kind of, you know, we went our separate ways after that. From my point of view, on good terms, we always kept in touch. Yeah, even though we bowed out for like 10 years, we don't know what the hell happened.
Sam went into hiding for 10 years.
I was held in a cave in Afghanistan, bro.
We all wondered. You know, your imprint, and I tell George the same. Your imprint was so deep that for the first few conventions, everybody referred to us as, "Hey, the crazy guys." Where's Sam?
We would walk into
his meat hooks were so deep. Like,
we would walk into Midtown Comics.
Right.
Hey, crazy guys!
Hey, the crazy guys! Hey,
come on, man!
Little by little, though, we started to turn the tide. And hey, Mas.
But I was honored that you had my name spelled backwards, Sam. You know,
this guy obsessed.
It's funny the way it worked out. You know, I came up, like, we all came up with it together, but it ended up being our the first letter from our last names together. I wanted that to be kind of, you know, since it was me, George Medina, and Jonathan Syphax, Arroyo Syphax Medina. I kept playing with the letter placement, and then it came to Mas. I was like, damn, that's dope. Mas in Spanish means more, so Mas means, and then we flipped it like Sam. So he's still kind of technically part of it. He's the reason for this. So that's our little ode to Sam.
Viramus.
It worked out. Bro. It worked out.
Yes. No, I was secretly cheering for you guys on the back end. You know, even though, like, you know, because you and I were always cool. But when I saw you guys doing it, I was like, good for these guys. And, you know, the first time I went to a show when I wasn't doing it, I recorded you guys. I think it was Michelle Martin that did your interview.
Yeah, Michelle.
Yes.
That was just when we were the Street Journal crew. We hadn't thought of us yet.
Yeah,
okay, right.
That first Comic-Con.
That's right, yes, because you had the Street Journal shirts.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that was the only book we had was the Street Journal.
It wasn't even a book yet. It was just like a preview book. We were selling people an idea that wasn't even finished.
Yeah.
Yes. You know? Yes, I know. But yeah, there was. I mean, it was fun times back in the days. I mean, we have tons of stories. I mean, I remember the trip that we all took to the Frazetta's house.
One of my favorites.
Yes, it was like I think that was that's what I mean. For anybody who knows who the great Frank Frazetta is, famous fantasy artist, death dealer, and he's done a lot of great paintings. He has a museum upstate, and we went out there, and Anibal's ran out of gas. What is it? Engine stalled?
Okay.
A flat?
The car broke down.
The car broke down on the property.
My wife had just traded in our old car for a pre-owned like Ford Explorer or whatever, and I didn't get a chance to test drive. You know, that was the first time I took it out. Was that time?
Right.
Like for a long road trip, and something was wrong with it that I was supposed to take care of, which I didn't get a chance to do, and it ended up breaking down right on right on the Frazetta property. Yeah, and I was pretty pissed. I don't know if you guys remember that, but I was heated.
Yeah.
And to add to that, I'll recap the story that everyone likes telling about me. The bathroom, the toilet tissue incident. Yeah, okay, it's true.
No, yeah.
Explain that though.
No. So we're on Frazetta's property, right? The museum is not open. We got there a little too early, right? So they have an estate. They have the museum on their estate, and they have their home on their estate. So they're like a good, nice little walk down the path to the house. So Anibal, I guess he had to dunk some donuts, and so he decides to walk over to the home of the Frazettas because the museum's not open, and he's knocking on the door saying he needs to use the potty. So Frazetta's wife decides to let him into the museum, but he goes there, and I think they ran out of toilet paper.
They had 0 rolls of toilet paper. $1 million empire. They live in like the freaking Wayne Mansion, this huge estate. There's no toilet paper in their bathroom.
So I can't stop laughing. I'm like, I got this guy.
I'm opening cabinets. I'm opening the bottom of the sink, looking around. What am I gonna do? So I finally just come out and talk to the lady. I'm like, look, you guys need some toilet tissue. This is before even being introduced to her. This is my first words to her. It was like, can I use it?
Yeah, I know. She's like, him again. And she's like, oh my God, he destroyed our bathroom. And oh my God, his car is on our property. They're going to rob us.
I killed it.
The best thing about that trip, I remember, one of the best things was, besides seeing Frazetta driving off, we got to see him in a limo. He was on his way out somewhere.
Right.
And somebody had instructed us, I believe it was Mrs. Frazetta, not to take pictures of the artwork.
Yeah.
But how are you going to tell us that and then tell us to help you carry it into wherever and not expect us to take pictures of the artwork?
Right.
So while we're carrying it, me, John, and George, for some reason we ended up alone with like one of like the Death Dealer or something.
Yeah.
And a couple of shots which are actually on Facebook, so
right.
Go look through our albums. They're tagged up in there, and that's how are you gonna resist that?
Yes.
Yes.
Tell the cat not to taste the mouse.
Yes. I mean, I enjoyed her stories.
Nah, she was awesome.
Yeah,
she was a nice lady, man.
Yeah.
It's so cool, but a lot of good memories, man. A lot of good stories.
Dude, we had so many trips, man. Like we did a lot of conventions, and that was the thing. The conventions, we would get together. We share rooms. Like it was great. It was fun, dude.
Good times, man. Good times. I actually learned a lot about like just being. I've never been like a sales guy. I always thought salespeople are full of shit. Get out of my face. That's been my attitude. But being behind the table, it's a whole different ball game.
Yes.
You kind of have to learn how to adjust. And again, I'm pretty good with like a small group, an intimate setting. But when you put me like live in front of the crowd, I got like, what do you call it? Stage fright.
Yeah.
And it would just be hard. Like I couldn't explain the story. It took me a while to get comfortable with that. And then just being around you guys and seeing how it worked, like Jonathan's an ace at that. He's a retail guy. Sam is in retail. George is just naturally good. So I adapted all that to myself, and I'm able to kind of adjust my way of being when I'm in that scenario. I was trying
but once you get comfortable, dude, you're
absolutely.
good.
Yeah, no, yeah. I can go when I need to go. You know what I'm saying? I would rather not. I'd rather be behind. I'm all about the production. I like being behind the scenes in the art. But if I have to, which is, if I have to, I'll step up and make a sale. That's why I was recently trying to do solo conventions, just to kind of that would have been the which one is it? The
Mocha, right?
The Mocha Con would have been my actual first con by myself.
Wow.
My own self. Yeah.
Put his big boy pants. Wow. Yeah, because I remember back when we first started, you were very reserved. And you were like focused just on your craft, and
exactly.
a lot of it was, hearing it now is you dealing with the uncomfort of
Yeah.
having to, because George was the charismatic one. He was the
He
one.
still is.
Yeah, no, he was the one. He was the one that was always talking to everybody. Where me, I'm always thinking about the business. I was always thinking about the next step.
Absolutely.
The next show. Where can we get our marketing going? Where, who can we connect to? What newspaper can I connect with?
Yo,
With me,
Sam was bleeding money.
I hate to like when, especially like when I'm in a team. I hate to be the guy to drop the ball and let the team down. So I always felt like I needed to. I felt that extra pressure with not just the artwork production, but now I got to step it up on the floor and make sales too. So to me, it was a good kind of pressure because it definitely, pressure makes diamonds, as they say. So it wasn't
Right.
something that I didn't feel I could handle, but it was a lot to handle looking back. You know what I mean? At that point in time. But again, pressure makes diamonds.
Right, and it takes time. I think we were all newbies to it. I mean, we pretended like we knew what we were doing, but we were all learning as we went.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so tell us about um, what were you how were you preparing as for Mocha going there alone for the first time? How were you preparing for that?
What were you bringing?
Well, I was gonna probably push the Little Steve's Closet, which I have a couple of issues. A couple of the children's book I did
Right.
as my solo project. I wanted to see if I could bring the anthology we worked on, but being that was like a group project, I probably wasn't gonna do that.
Right.
And other than that, I was just gonna promote myself as an illustrator, and I even had in mind to set up like a little list for like commissions, like a commissions list. Just sign up at the table, and I'll take your order and then work on it and mail it to you later on, type thing.
Right.
So I can promote myself as an artist. As far as preparation, that's pretty much it for me. I may have thought about possibly taking Gabby with me. Just she's a people person, so having her at the table, I know would have been an asset to me. As far as preparation, that's pretty much it for me. I really wasn't thinking about anything else. It would have been just like getting back behind like when we used to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's something I was already familiar with.
I got you. What was on that? What else is on that list that you wanted to talk about? I mean, you had that whole list.
Do I have to like? Do I have to
Okay,
go?
okay.
Oh, he did really that.
Look. It's
Oh shit!
Project.
No, look, the toilet paper's on the list.
That's actually the alien in the toilet scenario. You brought that one.
Uh-oh.
The alien in the toilet. What else? School. We talked about school. Fatherhood. Fatherhood is good. It's challenging sometimes. Again, it's a lot of pressure when you stand back and look. Like if you step back from your life and look at this person that's not you doing it, you're like, God damn, how does he do all that? He's doing this. He works full time. He's a father. It's a lot. But when you're in it and you're okay with stepping up to it, it doesn't even phase you. It's like if you get an arm chopped off and you adapt and you just start rocking it without that arm, it's the same thing. It's not really an obstacle to you because you're already used to it. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
And I always tell George and John this. After settling down and becoming a husband and a father, I actually got more artwork done than ever in my life before. I've been more productive since I've settled down. And you would think it's the opposite, being single in your 20s and having spare time. The more free time I had, the more free time I wasted. So being settled down was actually a productive, like a plus for production as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
Yeah. We had I don't know if it was in this set of episodes that we just recorded, but we were talking about Little Steve's Closet.
Yes.
And even like Sam's book, Mandy Pandy. We don't realize how long we've been doing this until you have like a kid involved in the book and you realize how old that
Little
kid is now.
Steve is not
Little Steve, that's what I was telling Sam. Little Steve is a grown ass dude. Like
22 years old, bro.
Little Steve's 22.
He's bigger than I am.
Wow.
Yo, his voice, Sam, his voice is like, what's his name?
Lurch?
Darth Vader.
Yeah, he's got a deep, husky voice. Yeah.
Yo, he's like, how you doing? How you doing? Yo, his voice is crazy.
Yeah, it's funny, right?
Wow.
Again, that's also one of those things where you step back after you do it and say, damn, I raised him right because he's a good kid. He's doing it. You don't realize it as it's happening. You're living like a sitcom. You're teaching him the lesson. You don't even realize you're doing it. You're setting the example without even like real. And whatever came out of me, it was instilled in him automatically, and it's a good thing. It's a good reflection on my.
Yeah.
I mean,
How old was he?
Something to be proud.
how old was he when you started Little Steve's Closet
I
book?
got together with Gabby and I first met them. He was 5, so he was still very moldable. And again, we gelled right away. You know, I love kids. You know, and I have a good time with little kids. And you know, we gelled right away, and it was automatic for me. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice.
Little Steve, man,
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Nice.
Holy cow.
So what do you like to see happen this year with what you're working on?
Well, I'm pretty much a realist. I know I will not finish. I won't complete the. I forgot to mention, I'm also working on my own graphic novel on top of everything else. Grinding out pages. Tentative title is Gunman, and I'll tell you briefly what it's about. It's kind of a slice of life, character study. It starts in the 80s with this boy who goes through a traumatic experience, and he's institutionalized for the next 30 years of his life.
Right.
And then upon his release, he's a man in his 40s, and he's trying to adapt to modern society and just figure things out. And on top of this, he also believes he has special ability to see evil in his nightmares. And that's as far as I can get into that. But yeah, it's a slow process, and plus I'm working extra large, like old school style. Like the pages I chose to work with are 18 by 24, and I'm doing it all by hand. And I started with traditional brush and Procreate, but that shit takes forever. So
Yeah.
I had to force myself to go back to just the tech pens, and I've been working with these. Where they at?
Yeah.
The microns, these things, everybody pretty much uses these. These are pretty much industry standard, and it's a lot faster that way. But it's a long book and it's a long story. Script wise, I have about 50 something pages actually written of script, and thumbed out. I have, because I thumbed out a lot of those 50 written pages. So my process is I'm working directly from the thumbs that I finish. Once I finish the thumbed version, then I'll go back to the written script, finish writing that out, and then continue the process like that. And I'm estimating I would like to have the artwork done, ready for coloring by maybe spring or fall of 2021, as far as the actual physical artwork. So that's my goal.
Okay, so I got a couple questions here I'm seeing on the page. Number one from Nino saying, "Does your kid draw too?"
Yeah, actually, both of them do. Little Steve, Big Steve. He actually he had a natural ability, man. He did a class project for high school or something where he had to do like a portrait, and it came out dope. I think I even put it up on my Facebook. I was surprised to see that he had a natural, and he's actually pretty good digitally too. His interests are not in that. He's got more of a scientific mind. He rebuilt his car engine recently. He's going to Rutgers for he wants to be like a detective in forensics and study biochem, fancy shit I can't even pronounce.
Yeah.
Little man, he got, like little kids, they're all into artwork and stuff like that. Right now, I can't tell if that's what his main interest is, because he just doodles, but it's there. It's definitely there.
Okay, then I have Anthony Lofton as saying, "Are you still writing?
Ant, what's up, Ant?
Are you still writing, or do you have some full pages knocked out?"
A little bit of both. I actually stopped the writing process pretty much since I started school, just because for writing, for me, writing takes a lot out of me. Like once I get started, I'm good and I'm flowing, but I need to be secluded. To put it this way, to finish Steve's Closet, the script, you know what I did? I went to a motel. I rented a room for 2 nights, and I didn't come out the daylight until the script was done. I turned off my social media. I paid for the room in advance. It was a smelly, nasty, funky room. It smelled sick. I didn't even take off my clothes to sleep on the bed. I couldn't do it. I was like, this is gross. But my focus was, I'm not coming out of this room until I finish the script. It was that intense for me. That's the only way I could have gotten it done. So once I finish the artwork, I'm definitely going to try to do something similar to that to get the script done. That's my process. That's the only way I could get something like that done.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he said, "Best of luck on the project.
Thank you,
Never get deterred by setbacks. All good things take time."
James.
That's from James Rodriguez.
Oh, Jaimito. What's up,
Yes.
brother?
Yeah, James is
The
chilling.
newlywed.
I know, man. He's in love. He was celebrating what was it, like his 2-week anniversary, something like that. It was like, we were 2 weeks married or whatever. And it's our anniversary. I was like, 2 weeks, Diablo. I forgot about my 23rd year.
Damn, dude.
But yeah, he's happily married, newlywed. That's pretty cool.
Yo, James, I want to see his book, Sarah. I want to see that book out too,
Sarah.
James.
Yes.
Ever since we've known him, bro, it's been about Sarah.
Dude, I want to see
Sarah.
that book, man.
Sarah. Yes. So you're not gonna have it completed. So what would you like to be done by this end of the year? Like, did you give yourself like a deadline to finish something specific?
Yeah, absolutely. And this is also school related. By the end of this semester, which will be the middle of May sometime, I guess it's about over a month away,
Right.
2 months away. Part of the class stipulation is I need to have at least 4 finished images related to the project I'm working on. I'll have more than 4. My plan was, as I presented to my professor, Chad Wallace, by the way, a really talented artist. I have 2 character design sheets I'll be posting up. I already finished and colored. I plan to do 4 of those of the main characters. That's just one part of the 4 projects. I plan to have 2 finished colored pages, no text on it, and either a promo or a cover design just laid out, possibly colored as well. So those 4 things will definitely be done, and I'll be posting that possibly as late as this summer. So yeah, I definitely have a plan as far as that goes.
Okay. And Jason's asking, do you run your ideas or new characters or ideas by anyone, or you're afraid someone will steal your ideas?
I do run them by folk, and I do tend to kind of like to hang on to stuff and not be too revealing with it. I'm not gonna say I'm afraid of things getting stolen. I'm afraid of somebody beating me to the punch more than anything. So whenever I do something and it's a hot idea, I try to move on it as quickly as possible.
Right.
But I do run it by people, like with the gunman idea. That actually came to me. Funny, here's a quick little story. We were on a road trip going to Maine, of all places. You know, Stephen King, Maine,
Right.
a couple of years ago in 2013, and
Right.
there was a song that came on the radio, and I just told my wife, the hook from the song was like, damn, that sounds like a dope title for a book, for a comic. She asked me, oh yeah, what would it be about? And right then and there, I started spilling it out. And I'm like, damn, I'm gonna have to write this shit down. So I was back in 2013. I've been writing it on and off since 2013, and then I finally got to do actual pages on it this year because of my class project. So
Wow.
yeah, it's been a minute.
Nice. Yeah. Tracy Alford joined.
Yeah, yo, big shout out to Rick. Talk about Rick. Rick, that's on here right now. He actually designed the website when we first
Oh yeah, Rick Carter.
yeah.
And my boy,
The first Mass Media's website.
Yeah, that was Rick.
Yeah, the one that was never completed.
That's
I used to go to the website. Oh yeah, I swear to you, because it had some creative stuff. I was telling George, you had like this map of where you guys were gonna be, on the road. You had all these crazy cool stuff, and I was like, oh, I love that idea. And so every time I was looking for updates to see where you guys are gonna be, what are you guys doing, and it wasn't being updated consistently.
Yeah, but real quick though, that's not Rick's fault. Rick designed the website so that we could update it, and we didn't update it. So that was not him.
Yeah, I was just gonna get into that. It basically, the story with that is, and I think George covered it before too, is basically none of us are really I'm not gonna say tech savvy, but we're not tech interested. Like George is not a computer guy. I'm not a computer guy. John's not. So we wanted it to work, but we needed someone there specifically to kind of do it for us. We're focused on these other things. We would get to it whenever, but it was like nowhere near the attention that it needed. So obviously, anybody wanted to check in on us, it was like, these guys are,
right.
They're slackers. What are they doing? That was on us. That definitely was on us.
Yeah, that was on us.
Yeah. No, but it was. I mean, the concept was cool. I like the way it flowed. It's just
the funny thing is a lot of websites are similar to that, where they're blog type, where you could just write a bunch of blogs, and a lot of websites now are looking like that as well.
Right. So James says, do you brainstorm your idea on your own, or do you bounce off the concept with others?
For me personally, I like to brainstorm on my own. Again, when I'm doing something creative, I feel the more hands in the pot, the less control I have, and the less input and the less of me is in it. So when it's a personal project, it's all me. But I do also love to collaborate, which is why I started the series of anthologies. I love hearing people's ideas and bouncing ideas with people. So I tend to divide my own personal stuff for myself, by myself.
Right.
But at the same time, I do like creating with others, which, again, the anthologies is proof of that.
Right. I get it. I'm the same way.
Best of both worlds,
Yeah. Keeping it close to the hip,
The anthologies, man. We did 3.
3, and I'm working on another, number 4, me and June.
June, right? June, yeah. Big shout out to June.
June Nunez, shout out to him. One of the best indie artists I've ever seen.
He's incredible.
Look him up.
Yeah, we had him on the show. He was great. Yeah, he was
He
great.
actually inspired the idea for the anthology. Like just hearing him on the show, I was like, I got to do an anthology with this cat.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
no, him.
right. So then next, all right. So this year you have it planned out. What does next year look like? Have you thought that far or no?
As far as next year goes, well, I'm pretty much still rallying and surviving the whole the cancellation due to the crisis we're going through right now. So
Right.
my plan is once those conventions come back into play, I'm pretty sure New York is going to be canceled. We weren't going to do that one anyway, but everything we had lined up so far is canceled. We got an email today from the East Coast. That's probably going to happen next spring 2021. So my eyes are going to be open for that. So everything I'll be doing before that will be headed towards that. And then anything after that, I'll, as it comes, I'll take care of it, as it happens.
Right.
Yeah, I saw your message. So they've refunded what, like $20,000 so far?
Yeah,
like
they didn't get to us yet though, but yeah, I'm on it.
Jesus, dude, that's crazy, bro.
Yeah.
Wow, I heard somewhere that some conventions, was it you, Sam, that said that some conventions are actually keeping the money for next year?
Yeah. So what they were doing was giving you a credit for the next time they do the show
Yeah.
instead of refunding. And so I was talking to George because I was going to. It was a big expense, and I was contemplating doing a licensing expo in Vegas, which is not a Comic-Con. It's really just about networking and promoting to the big fish. And but it would have cost a lot of money, and I'm glad I did not because I don't know what they're doing with regards to are they going to just credit you or whatever. So I didn't want to be put in a position where I put up a big chunk of money and then I lost it, and it got held off or whatever. So especially now when you don't know what's going to happen with the economy and with jobs and everything else.
Funny you say that. The Mocha people still got my money.
They're holding that for next year.
Yeah. I want my money though.
I want my
We
money.
don't know about next year yet. I'd rather have the money.
Do you know Eliana Laster?
Oh, she is probably the greatest client ever. She's one of my my freelance clients. I've worked with her. It's the Betty Laws of the promos and the kids book we did. The Gertrude meets Mr. C.
Yes, I remember.
She's one of the best, man. I'll tell you about her really quick. I actually don't know her personally, but I put up a link to some artwork I did about 3 years ago now. And she saw it and liked it and contacted me to specifically to work on one of her projects.
Wow,
that's awesome.
Our mutual friend is a Hector Rodriguez, who's also another great indie artist.
Yeah, Hector. Hell yeah,
So
big
that's
shout
our
out.
mutual connection. And she's based out of the Massachusetts area. I'm not sure if it's Boston, one of those towns up there. And great, best client ever. If you ever have a chance to work with her, do it.
Nice.
No doubt.
Yeah, so Hector's asking if we heard of a virtual con that
James.
James. If we heard a virtual con that they're working on, I never heard of anything like that. I don't even know how that is.
Yeah, there are some people who are like even on Instagram. I think they're talking about doing like a virtual convention.
I was thinking virtual birthday parties and virtual weddings now.
Yeah, I was thinking, how would that work? Like, I guess maybe you give your website information and then you can order the books online. Like, you would just have a bunch of people come and check. I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting.
It sounds crazy.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, I don't know how that would work.
The guy who organized Creator Con mentioned it to James. So I wonder how that's gonna work.
Yeah, I know. And so Nino's asking you, have you looked for paying freelance work like in newspapers or commercial artwork like for restaurants and stores?
I have not, simply because I'm just pretty much tied up with the school thing and family. Once I get a little more time and, we're allowed to socially, connect again, because I feel like some of that to me is more of a thing. At least for me, it's better in person. Right. I don't like to just send a solicitation to somebody I don't know just out of the blue like that. It's just not my thing. Right. But that's definitely something I'd like to look into.
Yeah, Nino's done very well. I remember when we first met him. Yeah. He used to put his books not just at comic book shops, but he'd be at like coffee shops. Like he was really.
He's done a lot of those things that he's talking about. His work can actually be seen in local newspapers and his in Chicago and stuff.
Dude, he was his own character.
Yeah.
He that's how New York Spectacular he came. That's how we noticed him. He had the costume on. The laundry detergent man.
That's right. He would dress up as
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
He was a cosplayer before cosplaying was cool.
Yes.
You gotta
Yes.
post the pictures of that. I gotta see that shit.
Yeah.
Dude.
I gotta find the pictures from there because we did take pictures over there.
Would love to see that.
Yeah. Yeah. So
And you gotta warn me when you're gonna sneak up one of those old school videos, but what I might see.
Yeah, exactly. He does that all the time. Did you see the one that I had? Like,
over here. I was like, oh my god.
why? Because the one I put up on George.
Yeah, you didn't see that? I look like a crackhead, bro. I was like, eat a burger, kid. What's going on with you?
It's funny because I was working on the fan page section of my website, and so you know me, I have archives upon archives. I keep everything in files and whatever. So as I found your video. I was like, perfect for his show, and but that was a combination of 3 videos that I spliced to put together.
That'd be good.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I always kept it real though. You saw I didn't care. I was like, yo, after this, I'm gonna go take a leak.
Yeah, I know. That's what I said. It's Anibal.
That's how I do, man.
Yo, I'm going.
Yeah.
Into my mouth sometimes. He wouldn't know what I would talk, what might come out. I just like scratch like, oh my god, what's he gonna say?
I was like, this is the guy that pooped on Frazetta, his property. I was like, there's nothing sacred.
It's real, bro. I can't help myself.
Nothing sacred with you.
Oh shoot.
Oh, he's asking you, do you have digital comics online where people can buy an issue instantly? Since most kids are online and not really into print or media.
Wow. Yeah. Me personally, I do not yet have that available. That's something I definitely would want to look into. However, I do have copies of Little Steve's Closet available. If you want to order, or whoever wants to order, I can mail those out. Traditional methods. I'll keep my gloves on and keep my breathing to myself or whatever. Don't get any cooties on the stuff. Not that I'm sick, but you never know. If anyone wants to order anything, that would be the way to do it. The best way to get at me, obviously, is right now on Facebook. You message me, as I don't have an active website. So, or if you have my number, you can text me. Yo, I want to book. I'll hook it up for you.
You're on the gram too, right? Arroyicus?
Right, that's right. Arroyicus. Yeah, I'm on Instagram as well.
That's right.
Yo, James made a good point. Commercial art is a dog-eat-dog business. Most illustrators use art reps.
Yes.
Have you ever thought about getting like an art rep or like an agent?
Okay, remember how I mentioned before, I'm not into the sales guy thing. I think they're full of shit most of the time, and that's not my persona.
Right.
Once my 5-year, if you want to call it that, or my 3-year plan, once my stuff is done and I actually have the book physically printed and like this, I will be seeking representation that I'll be willing to pay for in the form of either an agent or a manager or whatever, whoever's not going to rob me that much. I'm saying basically.
Yeah.
So that's something for the future. So yeah, that's definitely something I will be considering.
There you go. Hey, big shout out to Gilbert Rodriguez, who just joined the show. He actually you have him on your website, Sam. He's the one that's holding the 2 books of Duty, and he actually was one of the first guys who bought Russ. I don't know if you remember that. We were at a convention, Anibal, and he came back and he had the original issues of Russ 5377, issues 1 and 2.
I think I do remember that.
Yeah, and then he picked up the graphic novel. So big shout out to Gilbert. Thanks, man. He's always
if once you make that connection with the fan, they're a fan for life. Bro.
Yeah, I think that was the hardest part for me, because when I left the game, I still was getting emails. Because even though I wasn't updating the websites or anything like that, my email accounts were still active. And I was still getting emails from the people who were picking up the books and saying, "When's your next show? Where are you doing another Big Apple? Are you doing?" And I'm like, I'm gone. It's like, so I just like shut everything down. I was like,
hey, George, real quick. I think for the future we should host a podcast from my lab and interview Sammy.
Oh, word. Do a little Sam interview.
Have him on this end of it. You know what I mean? Like,
I try to
find out what happened during those 10 years.
Yeah. George tries to flip the script on me. He does that all the time during the show. He goes, "So what do you think, Sam?" I was like, he goes, "Well, tell us how you handled it." I was like, "You think you're slick?"
Those are the best times right there.
He's trying to take me out of the control box.
We need to see more of you in that wig too, with the afro, Sam. I love that.
Yeah, I know. This corona had me, on lockdown, and my body was aching. I was like, damn. But who's that? Little Steve Claus is the bombs. Great ideas. Oh, Jonathan said
Jonathan.
great idea. Jonathan.
Jonathan's
John.
missing. He's the missing link right now.
He's
For the audience out there, the reason I started calling him John Diesel.
Oh,
You guys actually gave him the name, but the reason is the dude's got biceps like Schwarzenegger. Seriously, you wouldn't think it. He's a skinny guy. He's about $140. He's like 6 feet tall. But when he flexes, his arm just pops up muscles.
It's like a boulder just shows up out of nowhere. Yes, I remember the first time I saw it. I was like, does that hurt? I mean, because it looked like a rock just came out of nowhere. I've never seen anything like it. I was like, damn. I said, I'm hustling every day, and this guy's got a rock.
Yeah. John Diesel, for real. If he ever did decide to go hardcore gym, his muscle, he would just activate that DNA so quick.
Yes.
Yo, dude, remember you were talking about making him Shaku? I mean, Sam?
Oh, right, I remember.
Shaku? Was I?
Yeah, I remember that.
Really? Oh yeah. It's dress him up for the conventions.
They made some sort of a wager involving John being at the gym or something. Yeah, where he was gonna pump up and get dressed up as the character.
Yeah.
Shaku, bro.
Yeah.
For people that don't know, Shaku is a character Sam created for the story Forbidden, which I did get my hands on, and I got to draw him. He was this really cool African king warrior looking dude.
Yeah.
He was on like Black Panther level cool. He was this Diesel and had this cool weapon and cool outfit. He was
he had a tiger or a panther or something, right? Didn't he have
Yes.
He was a panther as was it a panther?
Yeah, Panther.
Yeah. A dope character.
They're gonna see it because the book is actually finished. The final pages came in. It's over 150 pages total. It's gonna full trade paperback at in the fall. George Medina is lettering it.
That cool.
Yeah,
you gotta grow that afro, John. Grow the afro, because Shaku has a sweet afro. But yeah. So I'm excited about that. It's going straight to a collected edition. It starts off with the Oroko's art and then goes into the new guy's art.
Look at that comment by Nino real quick.
What?
Big box of San Diego hit him in the wind.
Who was that?
I wasn't there for that one. I don't know about that one.
Wait, was it him?
I don't know. It might have been. Yo, we used to do some
that sounds like something that would happen to John. So yeah, it probably was John.
Yo, Sess, you want to tell the story that Nino's talking about or no?
What?
That when we were walking in San Diego with all of our equipment, and then a box just came out of nowhere and hit one of us. I don't remember what it was. Was it Jonathan? I don't know.
It had to be.
In the wind, like the wind just took the box and slammed him right in the freaking head. He's like, what's that?
It would be. He's like Shaggy. Yeah, it would be.
Funny.
It would have been. Yes.
I forget something I wanted to talk about right now. I can't remember what it was. It didn't make it to my list for me.
Oh yeah, James was talking about when we did Heroes Con. Remember that, anyone?
Heroes Con.
In what is that, South Carolina, James?
Yeah, I think I do remember that. Yeah.
Remember we went down there with James, Keith, Hector. We ended up going out one night.
I remember the bar, with the mechanical bull. Yeah, I remember that.
That was a good time.
Wow.
That was fun.
That's right. That was a good time. Yeah. I had to have my Rust books shipped to the hotel because they never made it to me on time in New York. Wow. And I had to get my book shipped out there, yeah.
Man, so it wasn't just, man, you got a habit of doing that, huh?
Yeah, dude, that happens all the time.
Damn, bro.
It happens all the time.
You definitely need an agent or some representation.
I need somebody to keep track of this stuff for me.
Seriously, yeah. I thought that happened only once. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, those the original days.
The good old days. What do you want to talk about, anybody?
I don't know. You guys got any more questions? What do you hit me up? My mind is kind of like blank right now.
Anybody listening have a question for Mr. Arroyos?
Let me see who's up here. Let me see if
And Mick Foley was at that convention. That's right. And Adam Hughes. He's like, we made no money that weekend. It was true. Something else was going on too that weekend of that Heroes Con that people just weren't showing up to the convention.
Damn, I don't remember.
Yeah, it was crazy, dude.
That is funny, but let me see. Who else could I shout out? Mike Sammartino, he was on. That's one of my homies from work. He's also a creator. He's actually writing a story, and he actually has artwork already being developed by his buddy Rob. And I'll be working on the cover for his issue 2 very, very soon. I'll be posting that up soon. That was a little commission he threw my way. So, yeah.
You know,
His title, listen, his title for the book is so dope. It's called Technogods. Isn't that a
Technogods.
dope sounding name?
Yeah.
He said he wants to make it like a video. He's got this whole plan for it. It's fucking phenomenal. The name alone is money. Technogods.
That's awesome. That's
Like
awesome.
something you've already heard of. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Shout out to you, man.
Yo, so the other thing that Anibal does as well, Sam, and we know this very well. He's a talent. He finds talent for us.
Yeah, he's like that secret scout.
Yeah.
You
He
know.
doesn't book them, but he scouts them, and he's like, guys, get this guy on the show. And sure enough,
Yes.
they show up.
Yeah, and he'll hit and he'll hit you up 6 different ways until you respond. He's like,
Photo, bio, all that.
My philosophy behind that is I still believe that even when we dispersed and went our own ways, we became Moss and
Right.
Crazy kind of went away. In my head, yeah, I was even telling George this before Moss was formed. I was like, you guys will, you'll get back together. It was a minor thing. And then, 10 years later, whatever it's been, it didn't happen. But in my mind, we were still kind of a unit. So
Right.
whenever one of us puts something creatively out and I'm available, I like to put my hands in the process however much I can. And my role in this project, that the pot to me feels like I'm the guy that knows a lot of these creators. I'm buddies with a lot of these artists. So boom, that's going to be my role. And I'm proud to take it on. I love doing it. I love seeing and hearing other creators process, just getting to know them on that level.
yeah, no, it's pretty sweet. It made things really easy for the relaunch.
I got a few more for you too. I'll be texting.
Uh-oh. Send them over.
Yeah, we still have to hit up a couple of guys on the original list.
Let me know when you're ready.
Yeah, because right now what's pretty fascinating is not only are we getting a list from you, but from my Twitter account, I'm getting people reaching out. The last guest that we just had they reached out on Twitter, and the what was her name from Image Comics? George.
Yarsky.
Yes. She that was another one connected through Twitter. So so the word's getting out, and people are like, oh, you know what? Let's get down with the craze. So it's pretty cool.
James has to run. He says, all the best to us, guys. Stay safe and healthy. He had a good time listening to the show, so that's awesome.
You too, James.
And Nino says, I remember you guys came to Chicago Wizard World, and it was rough. They stuck you guys way back in the corner in the artist alley. Yeah, by the bathrooms, I think it was. He says, Anibal, will you do any Chicago cons?
I'd love to at some point when when things clear up and it's within my means and my budget. I'd love to. I've never actually been to Chicago. I've been through Chicago, I think at the airport or something, going somewhere else, but I've never actually chilled in the city or nothing like that. And I would love to, absolutely. And I'd like to meet,
Yeah.
Yeah, I did Wizard World Chicago with Robert Garrett, former of Exmo Studios, rest in peace. And then I did it with George and Jesse. I think I did Wizard World Chicago, I think 3 times.
Did you?
Yeah. When I was there with Robert Garrett, we were at a hotel that was nowhere near the show. It was in the middle of a highway where there was nothing but gas stations around us. So we had to walk a mission to get to find a bus because there's no bus stops near us. It was just bad location. We didn't know anything about what we were doing. It was an experience. But that's what happens when in the beginning when you're grinding.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Live and learn. Live and learn.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So any closing remarks? Anything you want anybody to know?
I'm hoping everybody stays safe and healthy, and we all make it out of this. We're all pretty much in the shithole, and let's not make each other crazy. Everybody, I know personally for me in my household, it gets a little cramped, the wife, the kids, school and work happening all at the dining room table. Personally, for me, my life hasn't been changed that much. I'm still working. I'm considered an essential worker for my postal day job. And the only thing different for me is I can't just get up and go anywhere. Like the gym was pretty much the only place I would go to, I'm able to work out here at home, luckily. But other than that, stay safe and healthy. And please tune in, check us out on our social medias here. I'll probably be posting up some hilarities. You get a little stir because he's being locked in. The jokester in me comes out, so look for more stuff from me. And yeah, that's basically it, man.
Yeah. So Elena says she has to go to work now. She loves the show, and Anibal's the best. And everybody be safe.
I love you, Elena.
And then Daniel Mendoza says, Anibal, I still need a fighter character. And then Gilbert says, good to see you guys are back together again. And then Jason is saying, come to Houston Comic-Palooza. You can crash at my place.
And he's got a place, bro. He just got a new place. It's nice.
Wow.
Big house. Yeah.
Nice.
He's a nurse out there. They make good money.
There you go. But nah, this was I might once this all gets all settled down and everyone's free to navigate and congregate again. I'll hit you up and I'll put myself in the uncomfortable seat and I'll let you guys flip the script on me.
Oh, I'm all over. I'm gonna have my list ready.
List of questions on the list, kid.
It's gonna be a controversial show. I'm digging deep. I'm digging deep. I'm gonna get you to cry.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Your brother was a dick, man. That story you told before about he threw away your action figure, I would have killed him. I would have been locked up, bro.
You don't understand. I went through all the trash looking for it.
I got pissed over here listening to that. I was like, how could he do that?
Yes, you don't understand. It destroyed me.
How much older was he than you?
He's
How many years does he have on you?
He's like 6 years. 6 years.
I'm all over this.
Huh? He's like 6 years over me. And so when I was
So he probably was a teenager at the time, so he was already like grown man size. You probably were a little kid. You couldn't just beat him up.
Kick his ass.
Yeah, he was like 18 and I was 12.
Yeah.
I came home one day and it was all gone.
That sucks, dude.
Yes, and then I ran outside looking in the trash cans. It was gone, and it destroyed me.
Yeah, heartbreaking.
Yes, I know. But so I just want to thank everybody who joined tonight. We had 110 comments, and I can't count how many people actually joined, but I want to thank everybody for listening and joining Catch Da Craze. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. I want to thank you, Anibal. It's always a pleasure. I was looking forward to this show. I think
highlight of the week.
yes. It felt like old times. It's amazing. It was great to see that video. Yes, I know. But thank you all for listening to Catch Da Craze, and we hope to see you soon. And this show will be available in audio, so you can also download it on Friday on iHeartRadio and Spotify and
Peace, Anthony. What's up, bro?
Yes, and you can listen to it on Podbean, so it's available on any device, and you can also watch the video again and again and again on YouTube and here on Facebook. So I'm going to go to credits, and thank you all for watching. It's just easy. It's not. Crazy. You so crazy. Acquiesce. No, it's about my friend Acquiesce. Say my name, right? This is what you were thinking? He described me. He said, I'm the...
You're listening to Catch Da Craze. You're listening to Catch Da Craze. You're listening to Catch Da Craze. Catch Da Craze. You are listening to Catch Da Craze on Catch Da Craze. You're listening to Catch Da Craze.
Candy girl.